Howdy, howdy, howdy. Just got home from a 5-hour volunteer shift. It was Pet Fixer's Day. Noon till 5. Oh, non-stop. Go, go, go. Pet Fixers. We did 20 dogs and 18 cats. Oh my God. And my job is working in the back room where the vet and his helpers bring the instruments, the used instruments that need to be cleaned, repacked, and sterilized in an autoclave. Oh, Dennis, bless his heart, he mowed down here also. And he went circles around here. Good man. Oh, this is great. Look at that. Oh. And I'm in the back room where the laundry washer and dryer are. Had to keep up on the mountains of laundry. Look at this. This is fabulous. I can't help but think Dennis did some of this partially with me in mind. Oh yeah. Office manager came back at 5 minutes to 5 and said, "How much do you have left?" I said, "Lots." In my head, it was a pile of never-ending and constantly being renewed, refreshed with new stuff. And she said, "Well, the vet's all done. This is all there is now. How much longer do you need?" Well, she said, "An hour?" So, well, maybe 45 minutes. I really had no idea. And I said, this is the first afternoon I've worked. I really had no idea what was going to be expected. Is it normal to need me or a volunteer to work after? Well, yeah. That's okay. Well, I'll have to keep that in mind then. I didn't know what to expect. I assumed I was off at 5. I wonder what Dennis was doing here. Made a nice little loop in his field. Bet he made that for Suki. It goes all the way up. So she said, "Well, you can knock off." She was very vague about what the protocol was. I guess there isn't any protocol, in her head at least. If you have to leave, you have to leave. She was getting ready to turn off the lights and leave herself. Seems like the office manager ought to be the one who stays late and gets the job done, but she didn't have any idea what I was doing and how to do it. Every question I had during the afternoon was met with, go see Brianna, she'll know. That's a long-lasting annoyance of mine. People who are in the position of managership don't know how the operation works. If everybody called in sick, what would they do? I guess I need a little rant here. So I'm delivering. I ran into this phenomenon of the person in charge of overseeing the whole operation, or a whole operation, was manager of an Ace Hardware I worked in while I was going to school. He had no clue about the day-to-day operation out on the floor. He would be asked, where's such and such, by an employee who caught him when he had come out for some reason, deliver the money to the bank. He didn't know. He'd have to say, well, he'd get on the radio, D, where are those muffler hinges? She didn't know either because it was a hoax. Oh, Dennis changed his mind. Come through here. Oh, he said, oh, back up, go through there, up and around. Just realized Suki hasn't come to find me. Where'd she go? Oh, come on, Suki. Well, this is 10 minutes later. I've been down to the cabin. I'm feeling the same panic I did, I don't know, last time that she didn't come. Six months ago, a year ago, I don't know how long. Seems to me one or two of those times I found her waiting at the door of the house, so that's where I'm going now. Yepper. Oh, thank goodness. It's the third time she's done that now. Headed for home. Wish she would have let me know. Wouldn't that have been the courteous thing to do? The polite, the mannerly thing to do? Oh, sweetheart. Been waiting long? Oh, I'm glad you're safe. You got a mosquito on here. I got it. I'm gonna lick it. Oh, Suki. All right. All's well. This is good because I don't think my feet or legs would have been able to do another trip back out there looking for her. As of tomorrow, my legs and feet are going to be 40 years old. Oh, she's going to go all the way home. No, don't go home. There she goes. Ja, det goeie wat. Ja, det goed. Ja, det goeie wat. Hello, sweetie. We are headed for the South Pool. Oh man, I sure love this path, Dennis. I know I did go on and on about it yesterday, but I'm not finished yet. I want to see what the South Pool path looks like. If Dennis cut back some of those small saplings that he flattened out with the tractor. I'm very surprised at the grasshoppers. Every other year, I've assumed grasshoppers just appeared full grown. Like the one I videoed earlier today on the road less traveled sign leaning against the house. No, I think they're grown-ups of the little grasshoppers that I filmed earlier. Let's go through here. That I filmed in June. There's another example of things that I saw, the little baby grasshoppers flitting and hopping around, and it never occurred to me that they are this year's hatch. And they went from tiny to adult. One of her favorite spots. She's a little bit limited. Now entering wolf country. I'm not going any farther into wolf country. Although quite amazingly, I haven't heard wolves, I think, for a year. until it was a week ago in the morning. I was outside before dawn having my coffee, and I heard coyotes. I think I've got them on film. And then farther out, farther away, mixed in with where the coyotes was a wolf howling. I'm reading a book called The Overstory by Richard Powers, National Book Award winner. I think he wrote it in 2018. Magnificent. He is a hell of a writer. He understands and can communicate so much. It's a novel, so it's fiction, but a lot of what he's writing is true about how forests and trees communicate through the air and underground, which I've learned about in the last 2 or 3 years, that it's a real thing, how trees communicate, join forces against adversarial viruses and fungi to protect themselves. Another very fascinating, trying to keep the sun off the lens so we don't get the flickering strobing effect. A fascinating facet of aspens, poplar trees, and I've known this, I've talked about it, they put up new saplings from underground. They had their network of roots. Well, they aren't really roots as much as they run underground, and up pops a new sapling from that system. One of the points Richard Powers made in the book was that aspens, it's very rare. In fact, it can be hundreds of years for a poplar tree to propagate and grow from seed. They don't need to. They've got all this power in their network. So when you think about it, and one of the points he made was all of the millions of poplar trees are actually from one tree. He is revealing so much that we don't know about how the workings of trees and the vibrancy of the bark, what goes on in the bark, how moisture gets up. One little detail I do remember is how when fall turns to winter, that an aspen tree, poplar tree, they convert the moisture, the water in the bark, in the system, the tree itself, into an antifreeze. Nobody understands how that happens. How do they do that? What's the mechanisms? What are the mechanisms going into doing that? And one of the most exciting things for me is the mysteries that mankind simply does not know. Well, there again, the workings of the natural intelligence. He's making reference to that very subject that I've talked about myself. The intelligence of the natural world. He doesn't refer to it that way, but it's close. So I'm drinking in every word. I lay there in the evening when I've gone to bed and I'm reading before my eyes refuse to do anymore. just filled with this admiration, this keen feeling of safety. We are part of an enormously complex and infinite world of unknowns. Okay, well, I'm here. Everybody's got to be somewhere, right? That's the trail we just came up. And I brought along, I was going to bring along the wheelbarrow with chainsaw and helmet. And then it occurred to me, well, you idiot, you can't push a wheelbarrow with one hand. So I'm going to go back. Slow down, Chris. I'm going to stop off at Summit Ridge and pick out a birch or two maybe to cut down. And then I may bring the chainsaw back up here this afternoon yet. It's early enough where I can take a tree or two down, section it, and prepare for bringing some of it back and continue accumulating firewood. Tomorrow, I've looked at the weather, and tomorrow's going to be a little cooler, no rain. I'm going to start on the platform on this out the south door. That plywood needs to be replaced, and Chuck brought me the deck boards 2 months ago and the hardware, and I just got to do it. I could start this afternoon, but I don't work that way. I have to set a time and plan ahead for it. So when tomorrow dawns, I'll be able to say, well, I can wait another day or two or a week. But now we're getting toward the end of summer into fall, where the weather is not going to be dependable.